Astronomers tell us that when we gaze at the night sky, we are actually looking back in time. The light from those distant stars takes so long to reach our eyes here on Earth, that when we make a wish upon a particular star, it might actually no longer exist. The population of Earth is similar to those stars in many ways. In some parts of the globe, the human population is indeed declining or will soon do so. While the total global population is expected to grow, from the current 8 billion to a peak of 10 billion by the end of the century, we must take a closer look at some underlying dynamics. From 1960 to today, the world population has more than doubled, but during the same period, birth rates in the most industrialized nations have consistently decreased. This fact marks a fundamental shift in modern human history. An aging population on one hand and population decline on the other. Fertility rates are universally declining, though at different rates in different places. If current fertility levels persist in the coming years, the Chinese population would decrease by more than half by the end of the century. Similar trends are projected for Europe, the United States, and Japan. Even India, often seen as a shining star assuming the role of the world's most populous country, is already experiencing negative fertility. In addition to the negative birth rate, the most industrialized nations are also grappling with the significant challenge of an aging population. Japan, Italy, Switzerland, Germany, and Portugal are at the forefront of this ranking. The undeniable fact is that people are the foundation of every society, performing the various roles necessary for its functioning: workers, soldiers, doctors, farmers, waiters, entrepreneurs, and so on. The quantity and composition of the population significantly influence various social dynamics. By the middle of this century, there will be more people over 60 than under 14, causing a profound transformation in modern human society. This epochal shift opens up a world of challenges and opportunities. Demographic structure can certainly influence many dynamics, but our ability to react in an intelligent and resilient manner will make all the difference. With intelligence and creativity, we can turn these demographic challenges into great opportunities. However, in a world fearing change, governments seek to maintain the status quo by stimulating fertility rates through financial incentives. However, this approach has proven ineffective, as evidenced by South Korea's substantial investments, with minimal success. Attempting to maintain the current status quo means trying to sustain economic models based on perpetual demographic growth, which has long ceased to be relevant. Western Europe is at the forefront and is already struggling to balance these systems, given the increasingly imbalanced ratios between workers and retirees. An unbalanced demographic structure also poses significant challenges to social stability. Persisting in the current status quo leads to system overloads, increased labor costs, and the failure of social security systems. The demographic bomb is frightening, and many governments today prefer not to think about it, choosing instead to bury their heads in the sand. Fearing these demographic transformations, authorities impose restrictions on immigration and diminish their willingness to engage in global cooperation. Overall, this scenario reflects the challenges we currently face, even though in most cases, they are not yet fully understood in their breadth. Despite these bleak premises, it is still possible to envision a proactive approach that could lead to a better and more resilient world. In this context, where births are decreasing in the most developed nations, healthy longevity can also become a true asset. Healthier and longer-lived individuals would contribute to a reduction in healthcare costs, allowing funds to be redirected toward urgent social and environmental issues. The inevitability of a significant percentage of the population being over 60 thus requires careful planning for the well-being of the individual, society, and the planet we inhabit. Scientific discoveries that can extend healthy lifespans by a few decades are therefore welcome. Healthy longevity would certainly represent an opportunity for all humanity and not, as many believe today, a problem to be solved. Many studies agree that our planet does not have a maximum capacity for people. If we were to eliminate all deaths worldwide today, we would have about 55 million more people each year, a billion in 18 years. This would correspond to a growth rate lower than that which brought about the last 2 billion people. And it's still an excessive projection because it assumes the elimination of all deaths, not just those due to old age. It's also worth considering that all major advances in human condition have always occurred alongside population booms. From a social perspective, older individuals might reclaim the wisdom role they once had, and lose the status of burden they hold today. Their contribution would be fundamental to the evolution of the whole. As it is known that only after a certain age, does one gain a greater ability to understand and mediate between situations. This is precisely what a world with a growing population needs, at least until the end of the century. While space and available resources remain the same. It's also not true that by living longer and extending the working period, older people would take away jobs from the young. With the right policies, there is work for everyone, as demonstrated by the tens of millions of women who have entered the workforce in recent decades, without taking jobs away from men. In a resilient world, social dynamics change. Embracing the potential of older individuals to contribute significantly to the workforce without depriving younger generations of opportunities. As a last but very important point, experiments indicate that individuals become more compassionate when they have ample time available to them, suggesting that a world with a majority of older people would foster positive human development. A world where the individual can truly become a human being. The key point for the future of us all lies in how humans use their skills and technologies to optimize resource utilization. Longevity can indeed be a great opportunity. Humanity has constantly transformed ecosystems for its sustenance, from managing water systems to agriculture, from electricity to roads. We have long surpassed the threshold of the natural order of things, and perhaps the most natural thing left for us is the impulse to live longer and better lives. The question, therefore, is not whether the natural or unnatural resources of our planet will be able to sustain 8, 16, or 20 billion people, but whether humans will continue to develop the consciousness that will allow living on a planet that is a suitable place for everyone. And surely, humans can do it. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed the content, I invite you to leave a like, share the video with your friends, and subscribe to the Longbility channel.